Hi, you're very welcome. And in this video, what I just want to show you is how you can kind of work with time data. Okay, so here we have a scenario where we've, fairly typical scenario. We have case was opened at this date and time, closed at this date and time. We basically need to find out how many hours it took between opening and closing. So I'm just going to put in duration here. And then I'm just going to go equals date time closed minus date time opened. Okay, and of course this is not very helpful at all. So what I need to do at this point is that I need to go up here. I need to go to format cells, which you can also get by going control and 1. I need to go down here to custom, and I need to scroll down to a very specific one, like my little brackets here. What I might do is just give it the hours and minutes. We could kind of leave the seconds out of it and then click OK. Okay, now straight away you can see this looks much more like it. Okay, so here we've got a date and time all ready to go. It's in hours, the whole thing, and so on. Right. So what we need to just look at next is we also need to look at a bit of analysis of this, basically to see what band it's kind of fallen into. Right. So what we have here is a scenario where we've got time bands here. And basically we've, on this sheet here, you can see, okay, from 0 to 4, 4 to 8, and so on, 12, and so on, 28 plus. A different category has been assigned to the duration of it. So for example, let's say basically between 4 and 0 is assigned as less than 4 hours. Okay, and we're going to use a VLOOKUP for this one. So click here, and I'm going to call it band. Have I spelled it correctly? So I'm just going to go up into my formulas, lookup and reference, down to VLOOKUP. Okay, so my lookup value here is going to be this one. Now the thing you need to remember is that with this particular VLOOKUP, what we need to do is basically set it up so that it's, it's not actually going to be fixed to something, because we want it to fall within a particular band. So go to table array, time bands, highlight my 2 columns here. Okay, and then I'm going to say column index number 2. And I'm going to leave this as 0. And then I click OK. Right, now. Okay, well, that's not what I had planned to do anyway. Right. Now, the reason for this is that I, out of force of habit here, if you look here up in my VLOOKUP, I'd actually put in 0, okay? Whereas what I should have put in is true, okay? And because essentially it's the question here in the VLOOKUP is, does it fall in that band, not is it an exact match? Okay, yeah, and you see there straight away, it's now kind of looking much more likely, okay? Now, the next thing we want to do is basically then like get the average of the duration by priority as well. So that's going to be the next phase if possible. Okay, so let's look here. So what we need to do is basically get the average time by priority. Okay, so click here, table design, summarize the pivot table, put on a new one here. Okay, and then what I do is I go down here, drag down to priority, which is here. And then I also drag down duration hours here, which is the one I've done. So far so good, not looking great. I need to do a couple of things here. First of all, I need to go down to value field settings, change the number format down to my special time. Okay, and the reason I put in the HHMM is that if I think it's going to be more than 24 hours, that kind of solves that particular problem. Okay, and the other thing I want to do then is just get the average, and I click OK. Right, so that basically gives me the average time, by each of these priorities. Now, if it was a question that I want to kind of do that over months, I would simply come over here to my field list, and let's say I could put in, for example, let's say date time opened, if I want to, if that was the one I want to do it by. All right, so you can see it gives me a breakdown then by the day. I want to do it by month, right click, and let's say group into months. There's only 1 month, I think, in the data anyway. Right, so that just gives you the thing of doing the data on it. Now, the other one I want to do as well is just to get it broken down by the different time bands that I've done there as well. So I'm just going to rename that to analysis by, so you know what this is called again? By priority. Yep. Okay, so we're going to do then kind of analysis by time band. Here, click into my data set, table design, summarize a pivot table, click OK. And what I'm going to do in this case is basically drag down my category down here. Okay, and I'm also going to drag down my duration down here. Okay, back to the same thing again, I'm afraid. So right click, value field settings, change the number format, HHMM, click on the average. So this kind of just could give me the average as well, and click OK. Right, so that basically gives me the average duration, like so basically when it's kind of under number 4 hours, and that one. And if I want to add a slicer then to that, I just go insert slicer, and say for example I could say by status or closed. Or I might just choose something else, press delete. This one. I might choose by case owner alias. Alright, tier 1. Tier 2. Alright, and then clear that one. Alright, so I hope you find this useful, and I'm just going to call this analysis by time band. Alright, hope you find it useful. Mind yourself. Take care. Bye.